Steady said remove his command. No. That new Metroid game isn't going to get likes because the protagonist is a female. Are you kidding me? Dude, it's Metroid. Everybody loves Metroid.
Well, even people who don't even know what Metroid is know what Samus is. At least once.
Everybody loves Metroid. Fuck. That's never been a factor. What's up, Cheesecake? That's never been a factor. You couldn't find anything interesting in their game library that you can't get anywhere else. You're just not looking hard enough. That shit is banging. Everyone thought Metroid was a dude until they found it was a... Keo, why are you bringing up shit that was there in, like, the 90s? Or the 80s? Like, whenever it came out. Don't nobody care about that shit anymore. That game is gonna sell like hotcakes for the Nintendo heads. So with all that, with all that going on, what's Sony doing? Still being Sony. Barely letting games be cross-play because they don't want to play nice with the other developers.
Well, I'm a part of another game. I'm in another game team now.
Oh! You do got some people that still kind of...
Hey, what's up, Immortal Genesis? Welcome to my very first stream. Alright, I've got my cutout now, so just got my little camera here. I have my cutout figured out, but now I'm trying to figure out how to get the gameplay right now. Because right now I have my Xbox Series X connected, and I've got a game running, but I don't know how to get it featured in the background. That's obviously the important part. Because I have my AverMedia capture card connected. Everything should be ready to go. I seem to be streaming on YouTube right now. I'm not sure if it's also working on Twitch. I can go check that. No, it doesn't seem to be streaming on Twitch right now. Hey, what's going on? It's King Sparta97. Welcome to me trying to figure out how to get my stream going. Alright, I got half of it done right now. I've got my cutout right here where you could see me on the screen. But I need to figure out how to get the gameplay in the background. Thank you, Sparta. I like this background. Does my room look better with the light on or off? Creates a weird kind of moonlight feel when I end up streaming with the light off, and I just kind of, it just basically just illuminates myself. Oh, you like it light off? Alright, thanks for that. Let me just give you a little thumbs up. Screw it. You're getting the dab. You're getting the dab. There we go. Alright, so that would be pretty cool though. It means for DOA, I want to show some gameplay right now, but I don't seem to be able to see how I can get the gameplay figured out. I got my capture card connected and everything, but it only seems to be featuring the webcam. So that is kind of odd though, because I only have the background and the overlay, but yeah, that's kind of awkward though. It feels cooler in the room too. Room was really hot though, but yeah, I kind of like it with the moonlight now. Once I get the gameplay going, then I'll just go play some games. Like this is basically going to be just a, this will just be a freeform stream. Just trying to figure stuff out. Once I end up basically figuring how this is, I will actually try and stream every day from, well, basically from Monday to Friday. So basically we'll be training games from Monday to Thursday, then I'll just play like a random game on Friday. Kind of like that. Anyways, how's the sound? How does the sound... Well, basically, how does the sound sound? So I hope the mic isn't like a little too far away. Yeah. You want me to play DOA on the DS? Do you mean the actual Nintendo on the Nintendo DS version, or do you mean on that new Steam device, the Steam Deck? Alright, now, so, alright, let me just go back to trying to get this workout, so. Thanks for chilling with me to you guys, though, so. I know, I'm mostly going to be trying to stream during the day now. I'm not usually going to be necessarily streaming this late. Like, right now, I know, like, it's, like, fairly late here. Nintendo DS. Have you played the Nintendo DS, or the 3DS version? What was it, Dimensions? You played that before? Oh, DOA Dimensions. I kind of like the idea of that game, but the actual execution I wasn't really like a huge fan of. I'll say right now that I thought that the story mode was quite frankly really disrespectful to Itagaki's story, which I thought was really solid. From Dead or Alive 1 to Dead or Alive 4, that was a good story. Everything that happened after Dead or Alive 4, I mean, like, let's just say that they didn't exactly have the best quality writers end up going about it. So, I mean, like, Dead or Alive Dimensions, Dead or Alive 5, Dead or Alive 6. Like, I don't know what the hell they're... Hell, Dead or Alive 6's story in itself is like, I mean, like, just... What the hell? Like, what the hell were they smoking? Like, I just don't get what DOA 6's story is about. All I think is... This is basically what I was thinking. Alright, we gotta stuff in Mary Rose. We gotta stuff in Hanukkah. We gotta make him a story. Now, let's just add the rest of the story all around there, and then we... Poof! They based the whole story around Hanukkah. And made her Ayani's sister. That basically just made me die a little on the inside. But yeah, the less known about Dead or Alive 6's story, the better. But for Dead or Alive Dimensions, it basically takes the original story and takes a shit on it. So it's just it's not a fan of it at all. Oh, for the Ninja Gaiden DS, what was it called? Dragon Sword. The Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword. I haven't formally tried that game, but from what I've seen of it, it was pretty neat though. It was a 2D game, right? Dragon Sword. Oh, it's kind of weird though. If there's ever an example of a game I wouldn't mind being remade, even if it was like a little like $15, $20 kind of game, like that would have been such a cool add-on for the Master Collection, which just released like what, about like last month. That would have been pretty dope though. I mean, you got your Ninja Gaiden 1, your Ninja Gaiden 2, Ninja Gaiden 3, and then slapping in like a Dragon Sword as like an extra. That would have been pretty neat though if they could have remade it. But of course, I don't really think that Koei Tecmo Team Ninja really wanted to do like a lot of work with that. I mean, it was basically just like a straight up remaster for Sigma 1, Sigma 2, and Razor's Edge. So it's like, I mean, in hindsight, it would have been pretty neat. "3D Dragon Sword." Yeah, I mean, like, just the idea though, because I know that was the game that introduced Momoji, right? So I mean, it was just a nice little kind of side extra. Like, I don't know if I necessarily want it to be like a fully priced like remake or anything like that, but just like a little remake here and there would actually been pretty awesome. I don't think they actually want to move away. I don't think they actually want to move away from Ninja Gaiden. I think what they want to do is, I actually just think they don't. I don't think they necessarily know what they want to do with it. I get the impression that they're after Ninja Gaiden 3 and what was it? Ninja Gaiden Yaiba. After those games really did not do very well. So I think after that, I don't know if Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo knows what direction to go with Ninja Gaiden in order to try and achieve success. I mean, with what they're doing with the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection is they're trying to kind of just feel out the market, see if they can get like another. Just basically just trying to get a feel for like what the potential people think about it. Although the thing though is that if you don't really like go kind of all in and everything like that, then it may not necessarily have like such a big splash. Like, unfortunately, that's a kind of similar feel I got with Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown from Sega. I feel that they don't truly have a lot of faith in... They don't really have a lot of faith in Virtua Fighter. So with Ultimate Showdown is basically just literally an update to Final Showdown, which is an update to Virtua Fighter 5. So it's... I mean, like, come on, Sega, just do Virtua Fighter 6. Like, I know what I mean, I'm talking about like something different, but that's a similar vibe I got from the Master Collection, the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. I feel that these companies are just trying to like kind of feel things they're trying to feel things out a little too much, but they're not really like taking that chance. Like, if you actually just go out there and make that Ninja Gaiden 4, go out and make that Virtua Fighter 6. I mean, I know it's more of a risk though, but if it ends up succeeding, then that will be a huge boon. Like, I personally can't really see like the Master Collection or Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown really bringing in that many more fans. I mean, if you liked Final Showdown, then yeah, then Ultimate Showdown was a really... the thing is, Ultimate Showdown in itself, like mechanically, it's a really solid game, but I just felt that Sega really should have just put more faith into just making a Virtua Fighter 6, going all the way, like releasing it on more than just the PlayStation 4. Like, I'll just say right now, anyone that has seen my YouTube videos where I'm recording with my PS4, it sounds like a damn jet engine. I mean, I could like turn it on right now and have it in the background, and it would just like blow your ears off. Like when I use any of my other consoles, or if I play on PC, the fan is not nearly as loud. Like right now, the PC's fan is like silent. The Xbox Series X's fan is silent though. So I mean, like, but like I mean, just getting back to this. I know this is just me doing a random rant. With by just having Virtual Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown on just PS4, that's just like really kind of limiting its potential. I find. Because we're not really at a stage right now where you can really get away with just being like one platform. I mean, they didn't even release it on PS5, like let's say with like Guilty Gear Strive, for instance, with this game right here. I mean, yeah, I only have a PS4. I don't have a PS5 yet, so I just have like this. But yeah, I mean, I'll just let you know right now. In the future, I definitely want to try and, when I feel like I'm ready for it, I definitely want to try and get into something like a Guilty Gear Strive, like to try and support these games that have rollback, for instance. Oh crap! Let me just get back to the chat. Sorry about that. I feel like they kind of is there. I just want Vanilla 2 with frame rate that doesn't choke on buckets. Man, yeah. When are you talking about Vanilla 2? Are you Vanilla 2? Are you talking about Ninja Gaiden there? Or why not just make a new Ninja Gaiden game, fresh gameplay story, and let you play besides Ryu? That actually wouldn't be a bad idea. That would basically be like a pure spin-off. Like doing another Ninja Gaiden game, fresh gameplay story, and let you play as other characters. That actually wouldn't be too bad an idea, but writing that story would be difficult though, because these Ninja Gaiden stories, they're written for Ryu. Like Ayane, Momoji, what else is there? Rachel and Kasumi, they're just extras. Where the story is basically just Ryu and Ayane. What I actually would like to see is having a playable Hayate. I feel that dude gets shafted badly. Hell, he gets shafted badly in DOA also. But I mean, like, yeah, I'll just say personally that Ayane, Momoji, and Kasumi, they play great in Razor's Edge. I know that they were kind of weak in Sigma 2, but in Razor's Edge, yeah, I mean, you could actually play the game straight up with like either Ayane, Momoji, Kasumi, like all of them. Though the thing though is I don't know really sure how Rachel would work though, just because he's just a lot slower than the other characters. Like all the other characters are just straight up ninjas, but Rachel's just like basically like this big badass who just basically smashes people with a warhammer. Like she'd probably just have trouble she'd just have trouble keeping up with some other characters and things like that. Hey, what's up, Nicholas Torres? Right now, I'm currently streaming on YouTube. I don't have my Twitch up yet. I should check also just to see if my Twitch is connected. What I'm actually want to try and do, and what I want to figure out before this stream is done, is how to feature my gameplay. I actually have a game running in the background right now, but it's only featuring my webcam camera, and then there's just a generic image in the background. Like I like how the camera looks, but I'm like just need my gameplay now. Like I know beforehand I can show my gameplay, but like then you don't get to see me. Not. And I got this nice webcam here, and I just want to be able to show it off all those. So I mean, like it's just another thing I'm gonna figure out. So I'll try and stream for real starting this Monday. So if I can figure this out this weekend, that would be great. All right, let's see some other things. Character development. Do you still play Tekken? I play Tekken casually. I'll just let you know right now that I have kind of fallen out a bit of games due to the fact that the offline scene that I used to play with, we haven't really been able to get together for the last like year and a half or so. Since last year March, I think, was like the last time I was able to see them. So I used to like train hard at these games, but yeah, I still do play a bit of Tekken casually. I wish that a game looks a bit better on this. I wish that it would look better on the Series X though. Like that Tekken got no enhancements on the Series X. It looks okay on the PS4, but my PS4 is really loud. And it's okay on PC, but it's just that with the PC, I feel like I have to turn down my settings quite a bit for Tekken to run really well, but it's a surprisingly GPU heavy game though. But yeah, Tekken's still decent though. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think they're going to be coming out with more content. Because I think Season 4 was it though. Like Lydia, I think, was the last character. I mean, She is pretty fun, but I meant that she's like she's surprisingly tricky, a lot tougher than someone in like Hitomi and DOA, for instance. Going back to the chat now, because I love all the female characters. They're so badass. Never see them. If we do, they get a few seconds of screen time, and that's it. I think part of the reason why they don't give the female characters in Ninja Gaiden a bit more missions is because I think a lot of people actually don't like playing the female characters in the missions. Like I'm trying to remember. In Sigma 2, each of the female characters, Ayane, Momoji, and Rachel, got their own stage. And on Master Ninja mode, those stages were hard as hell. Like, I remember they only had like 2 save points in the stages, and they were like really tough. In Razor's Edge, I think it's only Ayane, and her stages actually weren't that bad. I mean, Ayane was a lot of fun, but I do remember her. I think it was her last stage or her second stage where you had to fight like these three kind of like, I don't know what that. I'm trying to remember what they were. These three kind of like mimic chicks or something, and I remember it being like pretty challenging on the aircraft character. No, it's been a little bit since I played Razor's Edge. Okay. Let's see. How would you feel about a Tekken Cross DOA game? Out of all the 3D fighters, I find that Tekken and DOA would be a really awkward. It would be a really awkward kind of collab because the way how Tekken plays and the way how DOA plays it's very different. I mean, unlike DOA and Virtual Fighter, where the two games are incredibly compatible with each other, they both use the same control scheme, so same buttons and everything. They both flow somewhat similarly. I know that Virtual Fighter has a bit more distinctive kind of movements, such as like back dashes and side steps, forward dashes, where in DOA you kind of have to utilize like Korean back dashes or I call it the free step block back step, where if you double tap back then walk backwards, then you can be able to block things, or you have to kind of use that in DOA, where in Virtual Fighter you have to use kind of proper movement and defense properly also. So I mean, but either that way, DOA and VFR actually I would find are really compatible games, but Tekken and DOA it would be hard because one or both games would have to make concessions. In the sense that number one, would you go with DOA's control scheme or would you go with Tekken's control scheme? Tekken's control scheme has 4 attack buttons and no block button. Or well, you could press back. In DOA, you have 2 primary attack buttons and a block button. So I mean, it just kind of works a little. It just works a little too differently, and it have to be concessions. Basically, like for instance, let's see, what's the last kind of like major-ish kind of like collab with 2 different franchises combined. All right, I'll just go back all the way to 2012 with Street Fighter Cross Tekken. In that game, naturally, of course, it worked because the Tekken characters obviously conceded to the Street Fighter characters in the sense that it basically just played like a Street Fighter-based tag game. So the Tekken characters played like Street Fighter characters. But would you have a Tekken cross DOA than a DOA cross Tekken? Like, I personally can't really see that happen. The biggest I can see is maybe characters from each franchise make an appearance. Like, even though I know there was the kind of rivalry between DOA and Tekken back in the 90s, but I honestly think Harada would be cool with the DOA character in Tekken. I don't know if the Tekken players would really want having a DOA character in Tekken, because I definitely tend to like hate it on the game, but I wouldn't mind it with like Ayane and Tekken though. I mean, just seeing her just spinning and like zoning the hell out of people, like that would actually be pretty sick. Alright, just going back to the chat now. If Noctis was in DOA, then I would go straight to Team Ninja's Twitter and tell them to just delete him. Just delete him. What I actually wanted was Noctis in Soul Calibur. I know Square Enix put 2B in Soul Calibur 6, and she is a hell of fun. Like, holy crap. 2B is like the funnest guest character I ever played, though. But Noctis in Tekken is just cancer. I mean, it's just, I just feel that just the way how he plays doesn't work with Tekken, though. Like, it's awkward, and he comes off feeling like a little gimmicky. Like, he's one of those characters where he's a real pain in the ass in low level, but of course, higher level players can deal with him no problem. So he's basically just comes off as a kind of an overly gimmicky character, where I thought that he'd be probably a bit interesting if they implemented him into Soul Calibur. But at the time, Soul Calibur 6 hadn't come out yet, and I guess Bandai Namco had to choose someone. Use DOA movement but have Tekken combos. Sure. If I'm not mistaken, Dead or Alive 6 combos and Tekken 7 combos aren't that different, because Dead or Alive 6 put a lot more emphasis on the bound element, where Tekken combos usually work like where you have the launcher, you have filler, then you do a tailspin, then you can maybe do a little bit more filler, and then you do an ender. Where in DOA, I mean, so basically, obviously with DOA, you stun the opponent, then you launch them, then you might be able to get in like a little filler, then you go for the bound, and you usually go for either a close hit ender, or you do something that sets up, well, you can, as of last year, January, of course, with that patch, then you can just do like some sort of ender that sets up Oki. So, yeah, both games do pretty much have bound-based combos, though, but DOA movement might be a bit weird because in Tekken, movement is incredibly important with regards to kind of setting up potential whiff punishes and controlling space. Where in DOA, movement is more focused around kind of positioning yourself in this stage, being able to basically for stage in DOA, movement's a bit more based around stage control, because winning in DOA is heavily based around just basically having greater stage control than your opponent, being able to position them into bad situations. Where Tekken is a lot more focused around kind of basically whiff punishing mistakes, forcing mistakes, being able to capitalize them, being able to kind of move around in a manner where you're least likely to just basically get blown up by your opponent's attacks, for instance. How do you feel about Negan? I actually honestly dislike him just as much as Noctis in the game. Just usually not a fan of weapon-based characters in 3D fighters. I mean, even though Negan at times kind of felt like Miguel with a bat, so but if I had a choice, if I had a choice between Negan or Noctis, I would probably choose Negan over him there. Noctis felt a little bit too kind of weapons based than Negan between the two if I were to choose. Oh, you looked up how to stream from Xbox to YouTube. That's weird though, because technically right now I could just show you like the capture card and just show like what I'm playing right now. But yeah, I kind of want to also put this webcam to use though, because that was like kind of the idea. Like they'll definitely be sorted out before next week though, but yeah, I will look that up though, because it's kind of weird though, because right now it feels like I have the option to do one or the other, which seems like kind of silly. The capture card should be able to feature, because I have it basically running right now. Yeah, DOA is literally the spiritual successor to Virtual Fighter. Similar controls, but smoother gameplay and counter button. I actually really liked how the how the VF characters played in DOA though. I know that they kind of annoyed people who kind of didn't like them because the fact that they were very safe, they were fast, they could almost seem kind of abusive on the offense, but I kind of liked it how they were based around safe string based pressure, but weren't really very delay heavy. So you can end up using kind of a lot of like safe strings on your opponent block. There's like more jail strings. But like I just felt that with the VF characters that, well, unless you get stunned, I felt that there was kind of less guessing with regards to delays, because the VF characters are not nearly as delay heavy as the DOA characters. So I kind of liked how they play. They were also more likely to have kind of a higher quantity of like frame advantage moves on top of the safety. So I mean, I personally thought they were interesting, even though I thought that Sarah was honestly kind of ridiculous how she turned out in DOA. I mean, because Sarah's not that ridiculous in Virtual Fighter. Akira is equally ridiculous in both DOA and Virtual Fighter, if people are wondering. His gameplay is meant to be annoying. Yeah, and if you're talking about, were you talking about Negan? Because yeah, I mean, a lot of these the guest characters in Tekken 7 are really annoying. Like, don't even get me started on the 2D characters. Like, they just, I just feel that they kind of mock Tekken though. Like the fact that they made the 2D characters considerably strong in Tekken, I just felt that kind of insulting to the actual 3D characters in that game. Okay. It's easier to launch now in DOA 6. His gameplay is basically I have range, and if you I get to launch you. Yeah, I mean, Noctis's range was quite nuts though, and he basically had this Siegfried like great sword that he can like launch you with and stuff like that. He also has this big great sword that he could occasionally use on approach, and I think was frame advantage. So I mean, like just Noctis was just not fun to fight. Just drop by to say that your DOA and VF guides helped me a lot. Thank you so much for all of your great work. And thank you very much, Baron of Wastes. I appreciate the sentiment. For DOA, if I could choose guest characters from Tekken to come to DOA, I'd have Julia, Eddie, and probably Jin. Julia's a cool character. It's just thinking about Eddie versus Lisa fights actually sound pretty dope. And Jin or Kazuya would probably be given. So I mean, the strong EWGF karate fighters. I know they would probably end up choosing Kazuya just because with Tekken 7. Kazuya might be a little bit more iconic, but if Jin has that kind of baby face thing going on, as opposed to the more devilish face that Kazuya has. Tekken is about movement, launchers, and bounds. DOA is more rushdown. If you were to compare the two, I would say that DOA is more rushdown based. In Tekken, essentially what you're doing is you're poking or you're chipping your opponent out until they make a mistake, and then when they make a mistake, you end up launching them and getting damage. In DOA, what you're doing is you're either trying to fish for a stun, usually a counter hit stun, so using delays or mix-ups to try and get that stun. Or I mean, if the opponent's not getting stunned, then if you have a good low, you can abuse that. Another thing about DOA is that DOA has a very extensive throw game. Like throws are a big thing for opening people up in DOA, wherein I don't find that throws are unless you play a grappler like King, I don't really find that throws are that big of a deal in Tekken, especially considering the fact that in Tekken it's basically just for the most part, it's like a two-way break between either a 1 or 2 throw or a 1+2 command throw. So a lot of time, and you can even see which throw is coming, like left hand or right hand. So in Tekken you can break those. In DOA you can't break throws. So if you have the opponent on the defensive, you can easily kind of sneak in like Ayane's like 6-4 T throw or Kasumi's 2-3-6 T throws, and then you can like in DOA it's just easier to open opponents up with throws. I find where in Tekken though, I mean it's harder to hit throws on your opponents though. How would you feel about DOA having its own mini tag series, kind of like Tekken? I actually would have to say no to that. Do you know what I would want? Just having tag mode in DOA back. I can probably kind of understand why DOA 6 doesn't have tag mode, because I can probably tell straight up the engine would probably not support it. But to be fair, I bet that Soul Calibur 6's and Tekken 7's Unreal Engine 4 wouldn't be able to support it either. Like, Tekken Tag 2 was on its own engine. I mean, before Namco started using Unreal Engine 4. I can guarantee that a Tekken Tag 3 would not work on Tekken 7's engine. Hell, I mean, you should see how low the resolution has to be reduced just for the game to work on an Xbox One X on an Xbox One, for instance. So I mean, like, if we were to get tag mode in DOA, it would have to be for a PS5 and Xbox Series X version. And honestly, I really think they should give a Dead or Alive 6 Ultimate a chance. Because if Team Ninja actually makes the right moves, and, well, I mean, if also add rollback netcode, I think that Dead or Alive 6 could actually do decently. Like, I know that there were some poor stigmas for it, like, early on about that, but I think, though, that if the game was just a bit more favorable overall, I think that a lot of people wouldn't mind giving DOA 6 a chance, because it's just a pretty unique game in its own right, and honestly, when you're playing a lagless match, Dead or Alive 6 is actually a lot of fun. I mean, even though I know break blows can still piss me off sometimes. And I mean, some matches can also divulge into a breakhold fest. But really, apart from the meter stuff, I still think DOA 6 is a pretty fun game, though. Leroy should come to... All right. If Leroy comes to DOA, same thing. I'm gonna go straight to Team Ninjas and straight to Bandai Namco's Twitter, and I tell him just delete him. Just delete him. Leroy Smith is the perfect example of a character who's awesome in an idea. Like when you see all that trailer for him, that was just incredible. That was dope. But when you play with him, you're like, what the hell is this broken ass motherfucker? I mean, like, just like Leroy's is dumb, and then Bakaram was even dumber. So I mean, like, Season 3 was not fun for Tekken 7. I would just replace Diego with Miguel. I mean, why not? They almost seem like the same character. Actually, let me go back. Let me see if I missed some stuff in the chat, because if you guys got a lot of ideas like going on right now. Apologize for not having the game in the background, but I'm just having some fun, just like chatting with you guys. For now, though. VF characters in DOA were sick, though. Yeah, they were really good. I mean, even right now, if you watch Dead or Alive 5 last round, like Akira play, if you look at any videos, that character's always like fun to watch. I thought Akira fit into DOA really well, though. I mean, he was strong, but he was not like overpowered, though. I admit Sarah could honestly feel a little obnoxious with her suffocating pressure, but Akira was basically just big elbows, big damage, big throws. I mean, for high execution, like I still remember the time with JC Akira like years ago at like NEC 16, I think. Yeah, I think it was NEC 16, and I mean like you just had like the A, and I mean Akira's just an incredible character. Yeah. Just drop by say for DOA choose. How would you feel about DOA having its own time? Oh, I already checked the one. Akira's execution, though. I feel you on that. Leroy is like Akira without the execution. Then you just get a brain dead character. Leroy is just really dumb, though. It's annoying because in terms of design, I mean, in terms of personality design, he's like one of the sickest characters in a 3D fighter. And then the Bandai Namco decided to make him busted just cuz. And then there was like I still can't get the whole, what I'm going to call the Leroy Evo Japan out of my mind. Or I just call that Leroy Japan 2020. I mean, like, that Tekken tournament was just really silly. I mean, when you're playing to win, just play Leroy. Tekken is also pretty rushed down, to be fair. Damage in Tekken. It kind of depends on the character bit in Tekken. Because to rush down in Tekken, I mean, well, number one, you would need a good abusable low. If your character has a good throw game, and if you have like kind of good frame advantage, but I find that rushing out in Tekken's a little harder since like Tekken doesn't really have guard breaks though. Like, and in Tekken, I feel that it's not as frame advantage heavy. Where with Tekken, it's kind of like trying to chip opponents out with lows. Then when they make a mistake or something, then you can hit them with like a counter hit launcher, like a Magic 4 or like a strong, fast counter hit launcher or something like that. You can end a round in like 10 seconds. A lot of times what I see in Tekken is people do like a round 1 fight hop kick and something like that and take out like 40% plus health in like one combo. And if that combo carries to the wall, which a lot of characters can kind of do from Season 3 onwards, and yeah, that's like half health right there. Yeah, Akuma's really silly in Tekken. I mean, if I do find 2D characters like Akuma or like Eliza or like Geese were I just felt they were kind of strong because their gameplay just felt like the best it felt like the strong elements of like 2D fighters with the kind of strong kind of block based pressure like such as like off like jump ins or certain moves like that, and along with not really being hurt by the 3D mechanics. DOA 5 has tag feature already. No, DOA 6 didn't have it. The combo's name. Yeah. For tag mode in DOA 6, that would have to be for a next gen version of it though. The PS4, Xbox One versions of DOA 6 won't be able to get tagged. I don't think the engine would be able to handle it. But tag is still fun on Dead or Alive 5 last round if you want. And Dead or Alive 5 last round still surprisingly looks pretty good on PS4 or Xbox One. DOA 6 Ultimate would be great on PS5, definitely. My only issue with DOA 6 is the auto combo. It's kind of weird with regards to the. Oh, I'm trying to. Oh wow! Why did I end up forgetting what it's called? Auto combo. Oh, the Fatal Rush. I think it was called was it called Fatal Rush? I think it was called. The thing about the Fatal Rush is I kind of get the idea of having auto combos because there are quite a bit of anime games I think actually have auto combos like Dragon Ball Fighters, Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Like those games all had auto combos, and I think Team Ninja was trying to incorporate. The Fatal Rush is kind of funny because it does little damage, but because it starts with a fatal stun, it forces the opponent to either have to use meter to do a break hold or have to take the damage. And you can obviously combo it into a break blow, even though that the Fatal Rush scales heavily. So the Fatal Rush is only kind of a nuisance if you don't have the meter to get out of it, or if your health is really low to the point that you would die. But otherwise, with the Fatal Rush, all you really do is just do the first hit for the Fatal Stun, and that's it, because the Fatal Rush just simply doesn't do a lot of damage. So even though and I'm not a huge fan of a one-button combo, Team Ninja did balance it so it's not like busted or anything. I want Zafina in DOA. Yeah, Zafina would be pretty dope, but I'm pretty sure with how Zafina is in Tekken 7, Zafina would annoy a lot of characters. If you think Helena is annoying, then just think Zafina is like Helena with even more mix-ups. Oh, you'd want Vanessa from Virtua Fighter should be a guest character in Tekken? That's the kind of the thing, though, is that I'm just thinking, how would a Virtua Fighter character work in Tekken, though? Because it would be the same issue with having like a DOA character in Tekken. Is like, what control scheme would you do, though? Because they'd have to change things around. But what I was actually thinking, though, is that a character like Vanessa in DOA would be pretty dope. Just the kind of idea of having a character with like two movesets. Like, for instance, the Soul Calibur games, like Soul Calibur 6 have Tira that has what's called a Jolly mode, which is mostly based around like lighter attacks and stuff like that. And the Gloomy mode, which is based around powerful heavy attacks, where Vanessa, of course, has her defensive mode and her offensive mode. So but having a character like that in DOA would actually be pretty cool, though, with a nice, like, large, comprehensive moveset. Miguel is just infinitely more interested in well thought out character, both visually and internally. I won't deny it. I do feel that Team Ninja could have done a bit more with Diego. I just felt that he just feels a little bit there. Where I do admit that Namco did do a better job with Miguel than DOA did than Team Ninja did with Diego. Yeah, but Miguel is pretty dope though. Genfu and Hayabusa were kind of OP. Hayabusa's okay though. I mean he's a strong character, but you need to be really smart in the neutral with him, because Hayabusa kind of struggles a little bit in the neutral against opponents with good defense or good punishment ability, because in the neutral, Hayabusa is kind of forced to have to do something that's potentially risky or just simply take risks in general. So like Hayabusa's neutral is kind of awkward. Where I still have nightmares of Genfu under a ceiling in Dead or Alive 5. So I hate to say it, but I was actually kind of happy to see Genfu not come back. Sarah from VF King Sparta. Yes, sir. Well, yeah, Sarah and Huang they're basically the standard kind of flamingo stance Taekwondo fighters. I don't know specifically if Sarah's fighting style is Taekwondo. I think it might be Savate, which was Katarina's fighting style in Tekken 7. Where Savate is basically the French version of Taekwondo. So it's the French kick-in fighting style. If DOA players had to ever deal with Devil Jin fuck. You're right. If you saw how some DOA players complained about how the VF characters were in DOA and just didn't like how oppressive they would be. Leroy and Falk would make people just rage quit the game. Fatal Rush. Do DOA characters would have Tekken movement, but their DOA movement, for example, Kazumi wouldn't have her DOA movement, but she would retain all of her moves and traits from DOA. The funny thing is that if you were to give Kasumi Tekken movement, then she basically would be a Tekken character. The way our characters move in DOA and more specifically, the way our characters move in Tekken, that's essentially how That's basically the way how characters move in Tekken. That's basically a Tekken thing. So as soon as you see the way how Noctis moves in Tekken, you see right away, oh, it's like a Tekken character. Whereas in DOA though, DOA is more based around kind of just like free movement, free motion. I mean, somewhat similar to Soul Calibur without the kind of one tap kind of free step in that Soul Calibur has. Where I know Soul Calibur either has 8-way run or you just kind of move with a single tap. Where DOA is kind of based around being able to just kind of, I guess, move relatively freely. And if you want to move back quickly, you got Korean backdash. But yeah, if you give Kasumi Tekken movement, she'd just basically be a Tekken character. Diego's just like, my mother's sick. Now let's beat up Janley. Yep, that pretty much sums it up. But like, come on though. I mean, this is basically what Teenager was helping you to get behind him for. I mean, he's a mama's boy. Deep down, the guy's a big softie, and then he wants to rip Janley or Riggs' heads off. In Wiki, Sarah's fighting style says MMA, and in Virtual Fighter, Sarah's fighting style is considered martial arts. I mean, it doesn't even have a name. I mean, like what the heck is MMA? Technically, Mila's fighting style is considered MMA because she actually is a mixed martial art fighter. Where I think Sarah's fighting style is intended to be Savate though. I mean, with the kicking and the flamingo stance and all that. But obviously, Sega wanted Sarah to be different from Jackie's Jeet Kune Do fighting style. Savate is actually the French version of kickboxing. Yeah. That's pretty much what it is, and I do find that Sarah's fighting style is similar to that. It has knees, elbows, punches, and tons of low kicker. Yes, my all-time favorite DOA characters gotta be Helena, Rachel, Sarah, and Mila. Oh, you include Sarah as a DOA character? So what? You were a DOA Sarah player? Were you, Sparta? Hello, Logan203. Thank you for the shout. Come on, thing. There we go. I got a bit of a weird setup here. So, next to my camera, I got my laptop right here, but let me just run on it. Thanks. Okay. DOA 5 was my first real DOA game. No shame in that. I actually think that Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate with the core fighters did bring in quite a bit of people because Dead or Alive 5 actually started pretty slow. Like the game did not sell that well at it did not sell well at first. Like it only got like maybe a couple 100,000 sales or something. I mean obviously it's better now, but once Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate dropped, dropped and the game actually started doing a lot better. Last round did decently too, even though it didn't get as good reviews. But Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate was considered like the golden age of Dead or Alive 5, though. I mean, just that small phase around 2014 when Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate was the main DOA game, like good times. Well, I mean, after they got Rachel nerfed, of course, because Rachel was kind of really silly. Ayane, Bayman, and Leon are probably my favorite DOA characters. Ayane, that's kind of a self-explanatory. Spinning, purple hair. Bayman, cracking necks. Leon. Alright, so, I mean, Leon, what can I say? Leon plus home stage, good times. If you're the Leon player. Naotora was a guest, but I had a crush on her. I see you got a thing for them Moe girls, right? Gomen nasai. Rachel's actually a Ninja Gaiden character in Origins, not DOA. That is correct. She is a Vigorian. First introduced in the first Ninja Gaiden game back in 2004. Even though, I mean, yeah, both Rachel and Momoji were, Ninja Gaiden characters. They both were based around fighting with weapons, but they got a fist fight, or a hand-to-hand combat style starting with Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate. I know she's Stacy. Your Neo Tengu videos really helped me. Glad to see your live. No problem, Logan. Thank you very much for the support, though. I mean, like, Neo Tengu is really good in DOA 6, though. It was weird, though. Because I remember Neo Tengu players struggling back in Dead or Alive 5, like, Ultimate in last round. But in DOA 6, like I mean, Neo Tengu is just strong, though. I mean, like, man. When she hits you, she just basically hits you like a truck. just something about the way how Dead or Alive 6's combat system works just seems to really benefit her. If only just recently occurred to me that Leon had Brian's Fisherman Slam too. Nice. But since she's in DOA, she's technically a Ninja Gaiden DOA. Basically, I actually would probably say that any character that's pretty much regularly in both DOA and Ninja Gaiden, you can kind of consider them both. I mean, like, I consider Ayane a DOA character, even though she's just as much of a Ninja Gaiden character. Even in that Muso game called Warriors All-Stars, Ayane was considered a Ninja Gaiden character in that game. So, I mean, like, at this point, Rachel and Momoji feel kind of interchangeable. I mean, they're originally Ninja Gaiden characters, but they're considered probably almost kind of a similar universe. I mean, I guess Momoji and Rachel have enough fans that for any future DOA games, they're likely going to be in it. Also, question: is Rachel in any DOA X games, or is she still shafted? I think DOA is some of the best fighting games ever. I think DOA has some of the best fighting mechanics I've ever seen, and while it does have its balancing issues like any other fighting. Yeah, I mean, same. DOA's mechanics were... I mean, that's actually the thing, though. If maybe the overall triangle system was maybe balanced, like, a little better. I mean, I personally think, though, that the mechanics in general are really solid. I just, like, maybe, like, if the sidestep maybe worked, like, a little better, like, reduce the tracking on linear moves, maybe take away stuff like high counter hold damage off of, like, a defensive hold, because that just feels a little too luck-based. You can keep it on, like, offensive, high counter damage on offensive holds, for instance. And maybe take away the whole kind of high counter strike damage on a throw attempt, because that ends up making certain throw... That basically makes throw-heavy characters a bit risky to use, because a fast character will just counter strike them. I mean, little stuff like that, and honestly, I think the game will be fine, along with maybe removing the ability to move at the start of a round, so a 9-frame jabber doesn't just suffocate you at the start of a round. And honestly, I'd say DOA would end up being mostly fine, though. And then, I mean, then maybe rebalance the meter system a bit, so... Yeah. I just wish DOA did more guest characters. I think it would be really cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I remember... Like, Dead or Alive 5 obviously had quite a bit of guest characters overall, so, I mean, but... That would be up to both Team Ninja and the other companies wanting to be able to agree on a collab, though, so... I mean, Dead or Alive 6 has Mai and Kula, but yeah... With the way how Dead or Alive 6 struggled, you know that it wasn't really going to get any collabs. The reason Neo Tango is better in DOA 6 is because the game reverted back to the stun. Yep. I always think so. Just the way how the stun launch system works is better, because the whole kind of stun launch system I felt was not as... I just felt the stun launch system was... In 5, though, I was just a fan of the kind of stun thing. Like, the kind of system that was... inherited from DOA 4. I am glad they moved back to the stun system. I thought that was a really good move, along with removing stagger escape. Like, I don't mind stagger escaping in 5, but if you're fighting a stun heavy character, then it feels like you're just stagger escaping all the time. Where in DOA 6 just kind of reduced it to you either just get stun launched, you can choose to hold something if you have an idea what's coming, or use the break hold. So I thought, yeah, moving back to it. And anyways, what is up, Osmic? I just want to give you a big shout out also, Osmic, for your Lore Explained series. That is really well done, though. I like those videos that you've been doing for that. I just saw your one on Honkers last night, and it was pretty entertaining. I like the hold system because it forces people to actually use their brains when they do streams, compared to Tekken where you can abuse the hell. A hold system in Tekken obviously... Well, I mean, I'm just speaking kind of hypothetically. I mean, a hold system in Tekken wouldn't work because this is not how the game works. So, the only kind of really maybe, I don't know if I want to call it a criticism, but a kind of I don't know if you want to call this a criticism, but a kind of commentary on Tekken's system is that the game can feel a little. When you're not playing at the absolute highest level of play, the game can feel a little too juggle dominated. Because when you watch anything that's like advanced level play or lower, I mean, so basically below pro level, then it's essentially going to be just kind of fishing for combos, whether it be counter hit combos, fishing for like hop kicks or fishing for like down forward plus twos. And then when you end up hitting it, then you end up having to wait for at least like around 5 seconds before the combo finishes. In season 3, a lot of characters got the ability to have increased wall carry. So from the middle of the stage, they could easily kind of carry someone to the wall, and then just right there, you could end up dealing like half life from like one combo. So I feel like I do feel that Tekken, I know, I mean, it could feel really, really combo heavy, but on one hand, it's also part of the game's identity. Like, if you compared it with Virtual Fighter, the combos still actually do decent damage in Virtual Fighter, but they're a lot shorter. Like, even Jackie's combos aren't necessarily that long. Like, the only time you have long combos in Virtual Fighter is if someone's basically at a wall or in a corner. Let's see. And Virtual Fighter is not as wall carry heavy as DOA is, although VF stages are also smaller though. I have to say, Ayane is the best and most interesting character in DOA in my opinion though. Her fighting style is very unique. Yeah, Ayane's always been a very standout character. And the interesting thing about Ayane is that I don't think you can find any 3D fighter with a playstyle similar to Ayane. Just her, I'm gonna call it her spin-based zoning is just it's just a really interesting thing. Like, she'd be really weird in Tekken or Virtual Fighter, for instance. She would be kind of weird in Soul Calibur though, and just the thought of having a spin-based zoning character in Soul Calibur is kind of interesting. I think I might have missed the comment. Let's see. I think she was, but they said they removed her because people didn't know Rachel was from a different universe. Yeah. Oh, I guess you're talking about in DOA 6, right? Because, yeah, there was quite a bit of time between Dead or Alive 6's release, and the last Ninja Gaiden game would have been Yaiba, which was 2014, so that's like a 5-year gap about. Neo Tengu is in Neo 2 as a boss character. Yes, she is. And trying to remember, I think Osmic did mention that in the Neo Tengu video, but yeah. Actually, the Neo Tengu in Neo 2 is apparently supposed to be an older Neo Tengu, like Neo Tengu's mom or something. It's apparently not supposed to be the same character, even though they just have the same name, Neo Tengu or just Lady Tengu. Oh, actually, I don't see Rachel in DOA. Yeah, I think Rachel's a little too thick for the... I don't know if Rachel's too thick for the fan base, but I mean, like... I'm not really feeling them shafting characters, though. I mean, it's not like you have to create like a move set or anything. So was it really that much more difficult to just add the extra characters to Rachel? I mean that they're still adding characters to DOA X VV right now, if I'm not mistaken. As part of the hold system is what makes DOA so unique. I do like DOA's hold system. The closest thing in Tekken to the hold system would be like low parries, and of course Soul Calibur has the guard impacts, the GIs, along with like reversal edge, but. Yeah, DOA's hold system has always been a flashy element, a fun element, and it's always is what makes it feel very different to Tekken or Virtual Fighter. Play Gears of War. I'll keep that in mind. I actually do really enjoy Gears 5. I'll keep that in mind and save that for my kind of mystery game day. I'll just let you know when I start streaming regularly. I will have one day reserved to basically just kind of a random game. So yeah, you guys can like throw out like suggestions from now, but just like keep in mind though that there will end up being a queue for like that. Where the first few sessions I'm doing are probably going to be based around practicing games, but before that I'd always say I have to figure out how to get my gameplay featured with my cutout. Unless you only want to see the gameplay. Because I happen to like my little cutout thingy right here. Actually, does DOA own the hold system, or perhaps another game adopted per se? Well, if I'm not mistaken, Virtual Fighter has a lot of parries and sabakis. Almost every character has some sort of sabaki or parry move. Even characters like Jackie or Sarah have some sort of sabaki technique. Although the sabaki techniques in Virtual Fighter, of course, are not kind of a catch-all kind of thing. Like, I know, although there's characters like Pai and Aoi that actually have DOA style counter holds where you usually press back in, like, I think P plus K to perform it. And Aoi's holds are pretty much work a lot like DOA holds. But yeah, every character I think has almost some sort of parry or sabaki type of technique. Do you like stage hazards in DOA, or do you think they should have more tournament level stages? For stage hazards, with the way how they're done in with the way how they're done generally in DOA 5 and DOA 6, I have to say yes. The stages are part of the game. They're what makes DOA unique. Although, of course, I wouldn't want it to go back to DOA 4 where there's a lot more of a random element by getting hit by stuff. Like in Dead or Alive 5, the closest thing to a random element is getting hit by a tiger running by, even though there's usually a gigantic... Number one, there's a wall trigger, plus there's a giant queue for when a tiger's to come out. Although I still remember with DOA 5, people would still get hit by tigers randomly, but I like the idea of stage hazards that are not random. Like in Dead or Alive 6, none of the stage hazards are not random. But on the other hand, I will let you know that the firecracker combos or the citizen assist stage hazards are kind of honestly ridiculous. So I mean, like, oh, what was that? Oh, never mind. I was just trying to figure out what that beat was. But I honestly, well, for the stage hazards, they're mostly okay in DOA 6. What I would do is tone down the citizen assist. I would make it one use per round. After you use it, then it just turns into a normal wall. I would not have the continuous citizen assist, reset, because you get hit. You make like one or two wrong guesses, and you're just getting reset for the rest of the round, and then you can get like comboed or hit by like a break blow. And I mean, you make like a couple wrong guesses, and that's like, then you just die. As for the floor bounces, it's just every time you see someone get it by a floor combo, at first it was really hype, but then it just kind of got really ridiculous after a while. I know they nerfed it back in like, I think it was September of 2019. I know there was a patch that kind of nerfed the amount of bounces, but it still feels like you can do. It just feels like you can do asinine damage off of the fireworks or floor bounce type combos. Although I don't know how I would tone that down though. Holy Mike Hermano Jose. Try convince my homie to play with me. Gears of War Series MX. Man, that game is badass and tough as hell. Gears of War is a really competitive game. But the thing is that there's people that have probably been playing since like the first Gears of War. And the game doesn't necessarily... I don't think Gears of War has really changed that much in terms of its core gameplay from like Gears 1, Gears 2, Gears 3, Gears 4, and Gears 5. I do like it how Gears 5 can run up to 120 frames per second on a Series X, but yeah, Gears is a pretty tough game competitively because it's I don't know, it's just really hardcore. I admit something like Overwatch is a little bit more my speed though. I mean, Overwatch is a crap ton of fun. Yo, the video about Neo Tengo's lore was really cool. I enjoyed watching it. Yes, Osmic's lore videos are amazing. More tournament levels gimmicks were annoying. Well, there's quite a bit of stages that are just pretty much kind of squares. What would your guys' thoughts be on if people in fighting games like DOA only played on the training stage? For instance, I still remember how on Street Fighter V and I think on Street Fighter 4, people would only play on the training stage. When I used to do online sets on Street Fighter 5, I'd sometimes would do like 50 matches against someone just on the training stage. I know why people do it, and technically it's the same thing in DOA. The training stage has basically almost no lag because there's no assets to load. But would you play a Dead or Alive game competitively on just the training stage? And number 2, should the Chamber of Potential stage, aka the training stage in Dead or Alive 6, be banned? Because it does have walls. So as an Ione player, I can't just run away indefinitely. Which I did occasionally do to people back in DOA 5. And sorry if I did that to you. I think DOA's hold system would work better if they had longer recovery rates. Yes. What I actually would suggest for the holds is reduce the active window from 18 frames down to 15, which would subsequently increase the recovery from 12 frames up to 15. So it would be 15. It would be zero activation, 15 active frames, and 15 recovery frames. So it would still be 30 total frames in order to catch it, but it would only be active for 15 frames. Because I know that parries are 12 frames. I think parries might be 12 frames in Soul Calibur also. The GIs, they're around like 9 to 12 frames. Where Where 12 frames I think might be a little too short for a hold, where 15 frames I think would be a good gap. Because with 18 frames, you could literally see someone whiff the hold and you could still punch into the hold, which I think was kind of silly. Where with 15 frames, that I don't think that would happen. Because with parries, you can't punch into a parry that's just kind of whiffed out there. Like they would have to, for a 12 frame parry or a 12 frame GI, you do have to kind of time it a bit. But 15 frames I think would be a good balance. I think I would do the same thing for that for critical holds also. And I think throws should only be unbreakable on high counter. Sure. I think that's okay though, because I think, yeah, I guess counter throws can be breakable also, since counter throws would be throwing someone during movement, or throwing them during their throw. But yeah, high counter throws should remain broken. But I wouldn't mind a DOA game with some sort of throw break system, kind of like VF. How VF has the neutral throw break, forward break, and back break. So I mean, DOA could do the same thing, since throws work very similarly in DOA to VF, in the sense of that is that there's throws that end with a forward direction, throws that end with a back direction, and neutral throws. Although a difference in VF is that all throws in VF are 10 frames standard, where in DOA, throws are specifically different speeds, like 5 frame neutral throw, 7 frame punish throw, 10 frame slower punish throw, and 12 frame hold punish throw. And I think throw Stacy, you talking costume wise or something else? Is there any DOA characters you believe need to be nerfed or are too strong? Right now, I honestly don't think any character really needs to be nerfed that I think about it. I know a lot of people think that someone like Kasumi or like a Christie or like Phase 4 are kind of like strong and all that, but I can't think of any character that should really justifiably be nerfed though. I mean, like, I know Nico can still be a nuisance, but I can't think of any character that really needs to be like nerfed though. Oh, I wish I could just have the character list like out. That would actually probably help me though, if I just have the character list out and just simply look at it. And yes, I have a pretty weird setup going on in this room right now. If I can look at it, Dead or Alive 6 roster. Right now, I can't think of any character that I would nerf. If anything, some characters could probably use some buffs. Yeah. The only character possibly is maybe Rick. Although since Rick's offense is really strong, although Rick doesn't really have much in the way of defense, though. But although I don't know, and also Rick is not necessarily the easiest character to use either. So, like I know, obviously, I mean, when Kula was dumb, she did get nerfed. So I mean, like before Kula had that nerf on her Diamond Breath, yeah, she was really silly. I feel characters need to be buffed. I agree. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to... Let me just catch up with the chat. Right here. Nah, I need my variety. DOA is actually a pretty balanced game in terms of... I know a lot of people bitch about the... A lot of people really whine about the 9-frame jab characters, though, but I mean, like... With Dead or Alive's triangle system, it is possible to deal with them. Like holds are pretty strong though, but I don't know if there's any specific character that I would. I don't think there's any specific. Let me get this off. I don't think there's any specific character that I would really consider nerfing though. Let me see. Raidu definitely needs to be buffed. The amount of work that character has to put in to be effective is really silly though. I mean, What would you guys think about giving Raido normal movement? I don't know why they made his movement really shitty. Like, I know that the super heavyweights aside from Rachel all have pretty poor movement, but Raido's movement is like a new level of poor. Like, I wouldn't mind this maybe buffing Bayman's movements a bit also. Like, I don't really think it was really necessary to make the super heavyweights have, aside from Rachel, have slower movement than any other character. Because they're already slower on average. The dude hits hard as fuck. Raido hits hard, but it's just his neutral's just really not that good. But yeah, when Raido hits you, he can do a crap ton of damage. Especially if you got your EWGFs down. Oof, I need some water, sorry. Holds should be even more risky than they are now blocking. There's two options I kind of have for holds. I don't really mind holds in neutral that much. But again, first thing's having reducing the active frames to 15. Keeping the recovery about the same, maybe even slightly longer. The only issue I kind of have, I guess, is that there needs to be more ways to discourage people from mash and hold in stun. For instance, you can just mash low holds and get away with it a lot of times, and it's kind of silly because one of the worst things you end up seeing in a DOA match is that people just mash hold. I mean now I know in DOA 6 you see more break holds, but I mean like people still chuck out quite a bit of holds, and you don't really see people chuck out GIs as much in Soul Calibur 6, for instance, though. And whiffing a GI doesn't seem as bad as whiffing a hold, I find. Like whiff a hold and someone maybe just like mashes right after, like it just like looks silly. What would your guys' thoughts be on holds in stun? So basically the critical holds costing 10% meter. Oh yeah. Bookster. I agree. That's a good point. And allowing blocking, I think, should be more emphasized in defense, and allowing throw breaks would grant that. Yeah, technically, when you're on the defensive in DOA, you should be blocking a lot because there's a lot of string-based characters in DOA, and you should be like, and those characters are using delay. So in DOA, you have to get quite accustomed to blocking and calling out delays and free cancels. So yeah, blocking is a really big underrated thing in DOA. Hitting hard is all Raidu does. Hey, he can also chuck that giant lightning ball at you, or red ball thingy. He's too slow as Raidu's backdash is hilarious. He literally cannot Korean backdash away from anything. Raidu and Marie should be buffed, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure why Marie's not better. A character I actually feel is kind of interesting is Hanukkah, though, where she does suffer from the same kind of stubbiness that Marie suffers from, but Hanukkah has a pretty interesting tool set, though. I mean, like, she might actually be potentially stronger than thought. Oh, yeah. They also took away Marie Rose's damage. Yeah, I definitely would buff Marie Rose's damage. I mean, she's a little girl, so she's doing little girl damage, but this is DOA, though. She should be using the power of Loli to power up her abilities. Anyone ever heard of E-Man? He makes Helena look broken. Let's see. Yes, E-Man makes Helena look broken. He makes Kokoro look broken. He makes Christy look broken. E-Man should just call himself to Mr. Broken. But yeah, but like Helena's evasion is like this is just like damn sometimes. They probably wanted to keep the stigma of big characters can't. It's kind of funny you have this notion they probably wanted to keep the stigma of big characters that can't move. That almost kind of makes me think of what Itagaki said, that like a wrestler should never beat a ninja. So a big guy should never be able to move quickly. So that's the kind of vibe I get from that. Oh yeah, I watch E-Man. E-Man is incredible though. He also does some really good stuff with Tekken too. Because he basically plays Tekken's Helena. Zhao Yu, who has the same kind of really crazy evasive capabilities. And Zhao Yu also has a evasive sidestep too. So I mean, like, hell, it's a toss-up between who has better evasion, Zhao Yu or Helena. What's that you drink? If someone holds and I just throw immediately. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. they did nerf the high counter throws, right? They used to do 160% damage, but if I remember correctly, a patch reduced them to 150% damage. So I mean, like, so yeah, not sure why they bothered doing that. The only reason why I'm thinking is so a striking base character is not doing grappler damage on high counter throw, but it's part of the triangle system. If you end up holding in the wrong place, you're eating high counter throw damage. All right, let's see. Unbreakable Throws has a side effect of making Unbreakable Throws has the side effect of making 9-frame characters excellent grapplers because the punch grab is always in play, considering the delayable strings. That is correct. I've always maintained this notion in my scene that Kasumi is the best grappler, not Bass, not. Alright, well, Tina is really good. But in terms of being able to actually hit throws consistently, Kasumi's the best grappler in the game. I mean, basically stunning someone with like your elbow or something, or like getting a high counter jab, and then launching them with a launcher throw for 67, then hitting them for 67 damage minimum on normal throw, or like almost like 100-ish damage on high counter throw is ridiculous for a character with a 9-frame jab. I mean, having ridiculous throw damage worked for Alpha 152 because she was literally just all offense. I mean, the definition of a glass cannon, where Kasumi also happens to have really strong defense, like good mobility and parries. I mean, good along with her good speed. So I mean, Kasumi is like a really good balance between offense and defense. So making her a strong grappler is kind of crazy. But I guess that was kind of done also to kind of differentiate Kasumi from like Christie, where Christie has poor throw damage in exchange for being a middleweight with a 9-frame jab. And other great tools. The power of life. Damn straight. I don't think that's a good idea. Holds are a big part of the gameplay, and making them cost meter wouldn't be a good idea. I suppose though. I would be cool with just maybe reducing their active window to like 15 frames, but yeah, though. I'm pretty sure most people would want it if the meter system was just gone in DOA 7, but even though that's probably not going to be for a few years though. But yeah, a lot of the complaints with DOA 6's gameplay do seem to revolve around the meter system. Christie was broken speed wise though. I don't really think Christie's necessarily broken though, because like again though, I mean like Christie's, especially in DOA 6 where she doesn't have her reset throw, her 4T, I think Christie's well, her just the speed and just the way how she's designed is fair though. Like she's a strong striking base character with with a middleweight, even though in DOA 6 you can juggle middleweights pretty well anyway, thanks to the balance system. So but Christie's throws are really not strong. You need to basically back someone up to a corner in order to be able to use good throws, whether it be like her 6-6 at a wall or her rolling T at a wall. But in open space, though, her throw game is just really not that good. I played with Aqua Twister before. They too. Oh, Aqua Twister's Helena. Yeah, Aqua Twister is like, it's just crazy. If he's not dizzying you with his Ayane, then he's just memeing on you with his Helena. Oh, they actually nerfed Izunadron. They nerfed the Izunadron? That's not cool. The hold version. Oh, yeah, I think I might have remembered that. Yeah. Kasumi is the best grappler. Oh, yeah, definitely. Defending versus Kasumi is always as much good. I just found something really, really weird, though, that I don't think Kasumi won a single tournament on the Dead or Alive 6 World Tour back in 2019. Yet she was probably the most common character in top 8s along with Nico, but I know Nico won tournaments, but I don't remember Kasumi ever winning a tournament though. I don't know if it's because people are used to dealing with her, but I mean Kasumi does have her weaknesses though. I mean like if you fight her beyond mid-range, then she's not going to be as effective, even though I know she still has approach tools like her Hoshimpo stance and stuff like that, and along with a good Hoshimpo P, but Kasumi's strong, but I'm thinking that she's she might feel OP on paper, but in practice though, she's basically just kind of a strong, well put together type of character. Yeah. Defending versus Kasumi is always. I switch from Bayman to Kasumi and I get away with murder. Well, yeah. I feel that if you go from like a heavyweight character like a Bass or Bayman, hell, or even Rachel. And then you go to Kasumi, and then like Kasumi, you can be like so abusive on the offense. Where with Bayman, you gotta like guess right to save your life. you gotta guess right to like save your life with Bayman, unless you have like really good Rakudo level neutral. Yeah. Rachel has some really good grabs in D1. Yeah, I still feel Rachel's really good though. I don't know why I feel that she might have been stronger in. I don't know why I'm thinking. I think Rachel might have been a bit stronger in 5. Like it's just that with the way how Dead or Alive 5 stun system was, where Rachel once she got on the offense, she was just really, really deadly on the offense. Where I find that Dead or Alive 6's system doesn't really benefit heavyweight characters as much. Even though Rachel's throw game is still strong and her stun game is still pretty good though, but. And if I remember correctly, I don't think her stomp is necessarily better in this game than it was in 5. Because I know people could still tech it away from it pretty easily, but even though the stomp is still an important tool just because of its existence. Yeah, Kasumi's probably the most known since she's a beginner character in the quarterfinals version. I actually personally don't think that Kasumi was a beginner character back in Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate. But yeah, from last round onwards, Team Ninja did make her a lot easier. And I'll say straight up that I think Kasumi's a beginner character in Dead or Alive 6. But I'm not sure if other people have that kind of mentality though, because when you actually compare her with the more kind of, I guess the more kind of considered beginner characters such as like Nico, a Hitomi, like a Diego, like a Jan Lee. Kasumi seems a little less straightforward, even though I guess Kasumi's like a beginner ninja, I guess, or even though Hayate is also good for beginners too, though. But where if you want to like learn fundamentals and stuff, then I do find that like Hitomi, Jan Lee, or Nico, like characters that are based around their neutral games, or like Momiji also. Characters based around their neutral game I find make good beginner characters, where I don't know if Kasumi's neutral is as obvious as theirs, I guess. Or... Although, I personally don't really think Kasumi's that hard to use, but in general I'd say Kasumi's pretty beginner friendly. I actually think I made a poll about that earlier, so let me check it. Oh, wow. 77% of you said that Kasumi is a beginner character. Let me check. I think there was a comment too. Oh, no, wrong one. Oh, my mistake. 78%. I did 2 polls. All right, let me read one in the comments though. Let me just bring my mic with me. I do believe Kasumi is beginner friendly. However, I also believe Hitomi is even more, because her strings are large enough and she deals way more damage to Kasumi with significantly less effort. Just mash. With Kasumi, just mashing, you won't get good damage. You will. I mostly agree with that, even though I don't know. I just don't like, honestly, with either Kasumi or Hitomi. I don't really like the notion of saying just mash or that, because if you're playing against someone with good defense, mashing's not going to get you anywhere. I mean, yes, you could mash with Hitomi, you could mash with Kasumi, you could mash with Diego, you can mash with Zack, but that's not going to work against someone with good defense, because someone with good defense will shut you down. Like with Kasumi, you have to use string delays. You have to break up your strings and string cancels. Just use maybe a couple hits there. You can't just mash P and expect success with Kasumi. But in general, her stun game is still fairly easy compared to maybe like more advanced characters like Ayane, for instance. I don't think she's broken. She's just extremely well-rounded and has almost every tool. Yeah, definitely. Team Ninja definitely wants Kasumi to be strong, though. She's the face of the franchise, so yeah, I mean, just... Team Ninja just made her incredibly well-rounded in Dead or Alive 6. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. All of the advanced characters have some sort of advanced tech. For instance, Janley's a beginner character with a lot of advanced tech utilizing his... Whether it be off of his offensive hold, the Dragon Gunner, or with his wall throw. His 60 at a throw can end up setting up like some tech. So characters like that or Mila are characters that can be played well at a beginner level, but also have a lot of advanced tech that you can sink your teeth into if you want to go further with the character. I find it funny how Kasumi's bigger friendly, but her clone Phase 4. Well, I think that was intentional. Kasumi was intended to be easy, and honestly, Phase 4 was always intended to be hard. I mean, does anyone remember Phase 4's reveal trailer back in Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate? She basically just looked like the most like ridiculous character with the kind of combos you could do. You knew right away that Phase 4 was going to be intended to be a high execution character. So Phase 4 is basically like a dark Kasumi, like kind of like a harder Kasumi. Even though Phase 4 is also really good in DOA 6. Neo Tengu is a very interesting character. Her design kind of throws me off, but she's pretty interesting. She has very ugly outfits though. You don't like those Neo Tengu, Japanese-based Tengu outfits? Early face Kasumi's an A rank that only hey. Don't underestimate how strong PPPPP is in a 3-bar connection or lower. That stuff is just like that stuff just basically kills your brain cells. Not gonna lie, I miss Alpha 152. No. That's not no. One of the first things that I was excited for with DOA 6 is the fact that there was about a 99.9% chance that Alpha 152 was not going to return. So, I mean, sorry, I can't feel you on that, Sparta. Sorry, buddy. Same, but she was annoying in time attack. I find that Kasumi tries to grab so much when you fight her AI. I'm like, Kasumi, you got a 9-frame jab. Stop trying to grab me. I'm going to punch you in the face if you keep doing that. Use your 9-frame jab. Same with like Christy though. Like she's like, the Christy AI is so cautious and careful, but I'm like, Christy, just mash P. Let me get used to it. Kasumi is U tier. Kasumi is U tier when I'm Wi-Fi. Or are you trying to tell me that you found some U tier Kasumis that use PPPPPPP Wi-Fi? Thank God for the Wi-Fi detector or the Wi-Fi icon. Oh man, I don't know why my mind blanked right there, but yeah, having that little Wi-Fi indicator though that was honestly one of the best things that Dead or Alive 6 added though, and now other games have added it. But I'm just thinking there just how good Dead or Alive 6 would be if they added rollback to it. I mean, like I know the game came out like over 2 years ago, but like, I mean, hell, games from like even before that, like Killer Instinct, have rollback. So I mean, like, I actually think Dead or Alive 6 would actually be pretty fun online with rollback, because when you play this game offline, you can react to like almost anything your opponent does. Whereas if you can't hold things on reaction, then it doesn't feel like you're playing DOA. You're just playing some sort of weird prediction guess game. Where offline though, I mean, you actually have to like use your delays, free cancels, your meta game a lot better. Where online though, it's basically whoever has better Yomi and better guessing and prediction ability does better. Lol, the double quarter throw and that one hard offensive hold. Alpha was. Oh yeah, their double quarter circle forward throw and the quarter circle back half circle forward. That quarter circle back half circle forward offensive hold was ridiculous. That went across the screen and it crouches on the floor. So you would have to do a crouch throw in order to beat it out. Like you can hit that offensive hold from range like so easily. Like I know that Excalibur Blades obviously like abuse like the hell out of that, or guys like Hollow, but I mean like. Yeah, Alpha was that offensive hold was so cheap though. Do you see a lot of character diversity in rank? When I played rank, there was quite a bit. Even though I remember seeing like a fair bit of like Nikos, Hanakas, Kasumis, Lei Fangs, Hayabusas, Hayates. So I mean like. That's mostly. I'm trying to remember other ones though. But yeah, that's mostly what I encountered quite a bit of. Yeah. It's mostly when you get to the middle ground though. Like beginning is all the core fighters. Actually, aside from like Janley, Hayabusa, Hayate, I didn't really encounter that many male characters to be quite honest. Yeah. Like beginning is all the core fighters. I rarely see Zac players. Yes. I'm trying to figure out, though. Like, I know in Dead or Alive 5 and maybe older Dead or Alive, Zac was seen as a joke, but I actually thought that Zac was fine in, like, Dead or Alive 6, though. I mean, I admit that he still is a little goofy in the story mode, but his default costumes, like, Zac just looks dope. Like, and his fighting style is, I mean, it's Muay Thai. I mean, it's if you're just kicking people really hard in the shins, like, how's that not fun? I'm surprised more people don't use Zac. I know that he's not a beginner character. Like, he's a little bit more challenging to use, though, but once you get used to how his reset game works with his reset throws and his mix-ups, like, I'm surprised more people don't use Zac. I mean, he's a good character. Like, have some people just watch, like, Hoodless do his thing with the character? I mean, like, I don't know why people don't see Zac. I mean, you guys aren't racist, aren't ya? Too many racists don't want to play Zac. Zac is kind of nutty. Yes, exactly. Brad Wong is probably rare for the fact that drunken kung fu characters are almost always rare because number one, they usually have the largest movesets, so they're hard to play. And similar to like Zac, drunken master characters always kind of feel like joke characters to an extent. But the thing about Brad Wong though is that you have to put in a lot of work for not necessarily the best reward, the best outcome. Because with Brad Wong, he relies heavily on his mix-up game along with his reset game. But if you're fighting an opponent that knows how to deal with his different stances and gimmicks, and it can be pretty, you can be in for a pretty hard time though. Like I remember Brad Wong was actually pretty strong like early on in Dead or Alive 6, but then for some reason Team Ninja just kept progressively nerfing him, and I mean that just wasn't cool. Oh, how long I've been streaming for? All right, guys, probably I'll be on for maybe an extra like 15 minutes or so, but yeah, let's keep this. But yeah, if you got some more questions and stuff, then yeah, go for it. They said they wanted Zac to be more. Yeah, because in Dead or Alive 5, he had a freaking clown costume, and in Dead or Alive 6, he looked like a boss though in that suit. I thought they did Zac right in 6 though. I know he was still kind of goofy as kind of being like Helena's mouthpiece or something like that, but I was surprised that more people don't play Zac for, but I don't know. Do Asians just not like playing the black dude or something? It kind of worked, but DOA 6 story, who knows? Yeah, the less said about DOA 6's story, the worse. I mean, when I end up watching Osmic's lore videos, I was like, wow, Dead or Alive 3, Dead or Alive 2U, and Dead or Alive 4 had really cool looking cutscenes. So I was really kind of disappointed with DOA 6's story cutscenes, though. They just were not that good. Oh yeah, they took away one of his close hits. Which close hit did they take away? I know he has a 236p and a 236k close hit, unless they took away one of those. Love Helena. Are you gonna do more DOA guides, beginner, intermediate, high level? For DOA guides. For DOA guides, that's a little unsure. I mean, like I've done a lot of guides for Dead or Alive, for both Dead or Alive 5 Last Word and Dead or Alive 6. If I remember correctly, I have a beginner guide. I think I did a lot. I did a bunch of advanced guides. I did do a few beginner guides along with kind of amalgamating things into the how to play Dead or Alive 6 beginner guide though, but as for more intermediate stuff like that, I will admit that I'm kind of waiting for a moment when well, admittedly, Dead or Alive is maybe slightly more kind of like prominent, or when Dead or Alive has a bit more relevance. Because at the moment now, I mean, the Dead or Alive is really kind of, I mean, the fighting game Dead or Alive is really a bit dormant right now. So I mean, as for Dead or Alive guys, there's gonna be like little things kind of like here and there. I might even do some more like comparison videos. Like I'll give you a little heads up now that I am going to be doing another kind of comparison video between two fighting games. Likely going to be later this month. Like I'm still in the preparation stage of that one. So yeah, but for beginner, intermediate, I actually will say straight up I probably won't do high level guides because that's basically the training where I'd be at right now. Like the highest I can actually kind of instruct is up to intermediate, advanced. Because like same with like Soul Calibur, that the highest I could do for Soul Calibur is probably like immediate to advanced. Because anything above that, I would basically need I would need assistance from like a pro player, for instance, to help me out. So like I can do like beginner, intermediate stuff, but anything beyond that would kind of start to need specialists. It's because he's bald. It's kind of weird to say Zack is bald, even though he has a really awesome costume where he has a hat, if I remember correctly, or at least he did in Dead or Alive 5. Don't remember if he has a hat costume in Dead or Alive 6 now that I think about it. Whether the spinning kick or headbutt laying out. Oh, either the spinning kick or headbutt laying out. Do you play DOA on PS4 still? At the moment, I don't really. I'll just say right up, I don't really play DOA on PS4. I play most of my games on Xbox. I just kind of play I just kind of play the games on PS4 if I kind of have to, or if there's people, I don't know, like if there's an online game and there's people online and playing it. But if I had a choice, I usually mostly play on Xbox. So yeah, on PS4 I don't really have it. I still have the game and everything, but the game looks and runs a lot better on a Series X. Like there's less input lag, and I can play it in 4K 60. It sounds weird because there are no wake up kicks. Has another Dead or Alive been announced for the future? As of right now, has another Dead or Alive been announced for the future, or is 6 going to be the last for now? Right now, the series is considered to be quote-unquote dormant. So that means that anything for the future of DOA would be under wraps right now. So there is no specific plans for it. Whereas Team Ninja is mostly focusing on Dead or Alive Venus Vacation right now. DOA X Venus Vacation, because that's where they're getting the moolah, getting that ching-ching money from the whales. But I mean, like, other than that though, there isn't really any. There isn't really going to be. Yeah, there isn't really going to be any DOA 6 stuff for a while though. The game is still fun, and it would be nice if they maybe could throw us a bone and all that. But honestly, what I'm waiting for is like a proper Ninja Gaiden, not like a remaster or anything like that. Like a proper Ninja Gaiden 4. I mean, and I'm pretty sure people have been waiting for that since like 2013 with Razor's Edge. But I'm like, I guess after Razor's Edge and Yaiba, it feels like almost like Koei Tecmo kind of gave up on Ninja Gaiden. And then just this year they released the Master Collection, and depending on how that sells will let us know whether we get a Ninja Gaiden 4 or not. Yeah. No one knows what. Yo, if they quit the. Anyways, guys, thanks for all these like really good questions though and everything, and also thank you for joining that stream. You could ask. I'll be on just for like a few more minutes now. You can still like ask some stuff though. I mean, this has been a really good discussion though. And do you guys like the moonlight, or do you like it with the light? Do you like it with the light on? Or do I look like I'm glowing? Oh man, I look like I'm kind of illuminated now or something. Oh, you guys prefer the lights off, so even though you could see all the crap I have in my room. All right, yeah. So I guess it just created a weird glow on my shirt. Like this. So although if I stream during the daytime, there's gonna be like daylight. I mean, it's dark now though, but like. So you like the dark mode, the dark force? That's what I'm gonna call it. Do you want a Ninja Gaiden boss character to make a guest appearance as a DOA character? The answer to that would be yes, if it's Genshin. Doku probably wouldn't work that well, because Doku would probably just end up getting Ryu level movement. But yeah, but like a Genshin though would be badass in DOA game. Join the dark side, the dark force. I should just get something and just illuminate myself right now. I'm gonna use this flashlight on me. Now I'm gonna illuminate. I'm gonna see, how do I look? Ah. Oh wow, this is nutty. I should turn it off. Would you want Street Fighter Cross DOA? The answer would be no. I don't really think the games are that compatible. Although I already saw words of a KOF mobile game getting DOA characters, and I didn't see Ayane anywhere. So I'm like, that game's gonna flop. That game is gonna flop. I'm gonna go there and say no Ayane, no bye. What fighting style would fit into DOA? Well, DOA is a ninja game, so like, well, ninja's anything. So basically, I just want Genshin in. Trying to think what other characters they could add though. What would you guys think of Okatsu from Neo? If you're wondering, she's the hot chick in the blue kimono-like uniform from Neo 1. Yep. It's KOF DOA, but it's a beat 'em up game. It's not a fighting game if you're wondering. It's called KOF All Stars. Oh, Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles would be weird in DOA though. Ninja Turtles I think would be better in a weapon fighter, but Ninja Turtles would look absolutely ridiculous in something like Soul Calibur though. But Ninja Turtles honestly would be better in a 2D game. Kind of like Rash and Killer Instinct. I need a one-frame Zack Beam. Zacko Beam! Ten-frame rock, paper, scissors in for Hanukkah. Helena needs to be able to shoot by... Oh my hell. You guys are really getting me... You guys are really getting me kind of pumped for a 2D DOA game. A 2D DOA game with Ayane-style spin zoning. Oh wow. I mean, just thinking right now. Ayane in Guilty Gear. I mean, so she's got her spin zoning, and then you got your air dashing, though. I mean, like, crap. Now I want Ayane in Guilty Gear. And yes, for one of my game days, I am considering training myself at Guilty Gear. I was thinking of waiting until I got a PS5 just so I don't have to deal with the PS4 fan, and so it would maybe look a little better. Even though Guilty Gear Strive does look pretty good on... PS4. Anyone here got Strive? I was just wondering if I should get into that game a bit more. Yeah. Ryu needs to throw his kunai. Ryu just needs to lop the heads off of some fools. That's what Ryu needs to do. And now that you just said Street Fighter Cross DOA, now I'm thinking, who wants a Ryu versus Ryu? To settle it for all. Honestly, I want a new BlazBlue game because Cross Tag... Cross Tag was fun. I don't know. Yes, I liked Ruby in BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, and she was cheap as hell. Oh, man. Do you know what I think would happen? BlazBlue Central Fiction didn't do well, so Warriors thought, okay, let's make a game that anyone will want to play. We'll make BB Tag, and then, well, you kind of know what happened. BB Tag, I think, was kind of low budget also, but unfortunately, after how Central Fiction does, I don't know if we're ever gonna get a BlazBlue game like that again. So I mean, we're more likely to get a BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle 2 than another Central Fiction, or another standard, or like a Central Fiction, what's it called? Central Fiction Extend or something like that. Like I mean, unfortunately, Cross Tag Battle is what you got. If you want another anime fighter, you got to play Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is just as ridiculous as Cross Tag Battle. Aren't the DOA girls in KOS having a crossover? That is correct. In KOF All Stars, we are getting Neo Tengu, Kasumi, and two lolis who I refuse to name because they're in everything. Yes. I mean, even in Warriors All Star, they added Murray, Rose, and Hanukkah. I'm like, out of all the DOA characters, where the hell did these lolis come from? They're stealing the attention from everyone. Ryu versus Best Ryu. Damn straight. And I know whose Best Ryu is. Oh, it's Emery. Hey, Emery. What's up? This is my very first stream, and I'm trying to figure out how do you get the background so it shows the gameplay. This was a practice stream where it basically just has basically my webcam going and then like a generic background. I like how the webcam cutout looks, but like how do you get like the gameplay in the background? Because for the next stream, I want to have gameplay. Okay. Yo, Emery, I was just chatting. Although, unfortunately, I'm not sure how much longer I'm gonna be on for. But like, getting some good DOA and random discussion going on in here. You just add the gameplay as a source. Add it if you're using OBS. Yeah, I'm using Streamlabs. I seem to have the option to either show my webcam or it shows my capture card. So I have like something going on with my capture card right now, but I'm not sure how to do it though. But yeah, thanks for the tips, man. Just add it as a game capture. Yeah, open whatever game, and then it will just show the gameplay as the background as opposed to the generic wallpaper I got here. And I'm still trying to figure out what game that is. Yeah. Now you can add another source. Yeah. All right. Yes, after this I will figure it out, and for the next stream I will figure out how to do that. But thanks for the tips, man. Thanks for the tips, though. You'll have to add it behind each layer. Okay, so the webcam would be the first layer, and then the gameplay would be like the back layer, pretty much. Because that's how I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be kind of like a picture-in-picture. And behind each layer. Is that game capture the game? Drag it under everything else like layers. Yes. All right, man. Thanks for the tips, Emery. Anyways, though, it is well for me here it's 11:30 though. So, but just want to thank everyone for joining me, and all right, I'll try and start streaming probably regularly starting. If I get everything set up, I'm gonna start streaming next week, even as early as Monday. So. Yeah, people, thanks for joining. Nice. Sure, Sparta. Thanks for the... Yeah, man. Just thanks for the discussion and everything like that. Yeah, but with regards to crossover games, hands down, VF DOA would be the best one. I just coming back to this, I just don't think that DOA and Tekken would really work that well though. It's just the way how the games operate and the control schemes clash too much. Where I was surprised how well the VF characters worked in DOA. I mean, having the same control schemes works wonders. Oops. Yeah, but no problem. Thanks again, guys. Though, so all right. So it's peace, everyone. I don't know how the Dark Force is going to look during daytime, though. I mean, at nighttime, it actually does look pretty dope. Cheers, everyone. This is Force Changer signing off. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.